Well, the sector continued through April with modest gains in average daily subsidy, with the not-for-profit segment officially jumping across the 190 barrier. And with that, the industry segment is now comfortably sitting around the 193 average daily subsidy. Now, with total claiming activity in April, it slid backwards across all segments, which was driven mostly by a drop in mandatory submission activity from permanent new admissions. Now, voluntary claiming also across all segments, with private operators falling below the 3% level. The drop in voluntary claiming has slowed the ADS growth of the private segment, and depending on how voluntary uplift submissions go through May, we may see ADS flatten or even retreat slightly next month. And within the complex healthcare domain of the ACC, pain management and pressure area claiming continue to pick up small gains over the April period. Now, the insight we will be looking for is how the shadow assessment data aligns to the Medicare claiming segments within ACC. Now, what we mean by that is if over 43% of the Medicare data set within the industry segment has a procedure 5 assigned to it, which indicates that 43% of the funding is being allocated to residents who are determined as the ACC as not able to self-ambulate because they're confined to a better chair. Therefore, that would typically put a resident into the not mobile branch of the AN-ACC, which scores a case mix outcome of between a 9 to 13. Now, it'll be interesting to see in the near term if 43% of the shadow assessments are falling into that distribution of AN-ACC. Now, occupancy levels slid over April after posting some modest gains since January. Now, with the new bed licenses coming online and consumers and families assessing their home care options, we anticipate occupancy to hold steady for now. With the introduction of AN-ACC, the fixed price component paid on providers' bed licenses will be a well-received funding gain to help manage their fixed costs in running their services with lower occupancy levels, which are continuing to play out following the announcement of the Royal Commission, as well as the ongoing management of the pandemic. And with that, we saw nearly 2,200 fewer permanent admissions over April within this sector, and nearly a quarter of those permanent admissions came from hospitals this past month, which is highlighting the importance of leveraging a partnership with the placement teams at your local base hospitals. Respite bed day usage across April also picked up slightly, with about 4,000 further bed days utilized during this month than previous. We hope most of these respite entries will convert into permanent new admissions for providers across the industry. And our average profile of a new admission this past month is an older 84-year-old with a lower ACC acuity level of 182/73. Now, as we work towards the introduction of the adjusted case mix care minutes, we continue to see modest gains in the direct care minutes worked by providers. Our industry segment has been trending upwards over the last 12 months. However, the direct care minutes is still well outside of the anticipated 200-minute average, which the department is forecasting. On a percentage basis, though, the RN cohort has further room to grow, with the April period finishing at an average of 21 care minutes worked by an RN on a per day basis. Now, agency hours jumped 28% over the April period, and we saw some declines within the allied health professional related staff in their worked care minutes over the April period.